Hello and welcome to The 20s Show, a podcast dedicated to the 20-somethings where we not only talk about our financial, physical and mental well-being, but also question the bullshit rules of the society so we can find our own truth and lead healthier, richer and meaningful lives. In the previous episode, we talked about why it's super important to begin with the end in mind. And today I'll share one of my best lessons. In this episode, we'll talk about that one thing that no matter what life throws at you, this thing will always be yours. And nobody can take this away from you or me. This is our biggest gift and our biggest source of freedom. Just in case you've missed the first episode, I'd highly suggest that you go and listen to it after this one, because no matter who you are, I promise you'll find it valuable. My podcast is available on all your favorite streaming platforms from Spotify to Google Podcast to iTunes. Let's straight up dive into the podcast. I hope you'll enjoy it. Happy listening. This begins with the story of a little wave, moving and growing along in the ocean, having a grand old time. She's enjoying the wind and the fresh air until she notices the other waves in front of her crashing against the seashore. "My God, this is terrible," the wave says. "Look what's going to happen to me." Then along comes another wave. It sees the first wave looking grim and terrified, and it says to him, "Why do you look so sad?" The first wave says, "You don't understand. We're all going to crash. All of us waves are going to be nothing. Isn't it terrible?" The second wave says, "No, you do not understand. What happens to us is not in our control because we are not this wave. We are this ocean." In our lives too, 80% of the things that happen to us are not in our control, and we cannot change them. Look back at all your plans and expectations with 2020. You might have paid your gym membership fee, you might have started a new job, a new business, or you might have been in your final year of college eagerly waiting to be placed at your dream job. But here we are, amidst a pandemic, mostly locked inside our home. Most things don't turn out the way we expected, and when they don't, we often feel out of balance. Remember the times when you're inside a moving car and the car suddenly makes a sharp turn? You get uncomfortably thrown away. What do you do then? You adjust, seek balance, and realign yourself. Right? Exactly. When life takes a sharp turn, we need to adapt, seek balance, and realign ourselves in the direction of the flow. And although it's not easy to immediately be able to change our flow, the game is all about how quickly you adapt. Life can take away almost everything from us but one thing. That is our freedom to choose our response. The problems, falls, and hardships may not be in our control, but we are 100% in control of how we respond to it. We can't stop the waves, but we can learn how to surf. Which reminds me of the revolutionary Viktor Frankl, a neurologist and psychiatrist and author of the evergreen book, Man's Search for Meaning. In 1942, Frankl along with his parents, brother and wife were arrested and taken prisoners in the Nazi concentration camps. Just in case you're not aware of these camps, these are the deadliest and most brutal prison camps ever. The sufferings people go through in those camps is something most of us in our generation will never even experience in our lives. His mother, father and brother were burnt alive in the chambers. His clothes and personal belongings were all taken away. He had to spend 3 years in 4 different prison camps without knowing about his future and when he too would be burnt alive in the chambers. But he somehow managed to be released after 3 years. What's unbelievable is how he perceived and navigated through this duration. In the camps, he realized that although they took everything away from him, his attitude to respond and see things was still in his hands. He started to find meaning in his suffering. And as he famously quotes, "Suffering ceases to be suffering the day it finds its meaning." When we're no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves, and that begins with changing our perspective. There are hundreds of other people, including Malcolm X, who became great only because when they were put through pain and suffering, their response was great. Deep down, we all want to lead great lives without going through pain and hardships. But that's not how it works. To go beyond mediocrity, to make a difference in this world, and to be great, we have to go beyond our stages of suffering. So many people, when they find themselves in unpleasant situations, a breakup, loss of someone dear, losing a job or failing at something, buy into the story that they are victims of those circumstances. But the truth is, nobody is a victim, just like no one is born special. Life is fair for everyone in the sense that it is unfair for everyone. How we see the problem is the problem. When something bad happens, negative emotions are obvious to become dominant. An abnormal reaction to an abnormal situation is normal behavior. But before reacting to the emotions and being consumed by them, hold your horses and understand this. What happens to us is the stimulus, which triggers us. What we do in turn is the response. This response to the trigger is often unconscious and automatic. But we can as well be really conscious about it. Because between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our freedom and growth. There is absolutely nothing special about what happens to you. The only thing that will make you special or great is how you respond to the things that happen to you. So the next time you're hurt after a breakup, understand that it's about patching up with yourself. While going through pain, you'll have a choice to escape that pain by jumping onto the next relationship, or to live through the pain and heal it. Or when you're working a 9-to-5 job that you dislike, you will have a choice between waiting for the weekends to get drunk and forget about the next 5 working days, or to work hard during off-job hours or weekends for a couple of months on your personal goals and eventually do what you truly enjoy. We may not always have control over our options, but we always have control over how we choose among them. Next time you fail or feel the pain, reflect on your mistakes. Take your lesson and ensure that you won't fail given the similar situation again. Because our journey is all about evolution. Everything that's happening to us on an internal level is mirrored at an external level. We often believe that things happen outside first and then our reaction and feelings happen second, but it's actually quite the opposite. When we experience pain, although it appears to be arising based on outside circumstances, it is majorly self-inflicted. But that's a good thing, because such situations magnify our pain and show us the things that we need to fix and work on within ourselves in order to evolve. I mean, think of the pain as that crybaby who's screaming unhappily because he needs something that we are not giving him. Listen to that crybaby and feed him. So now as we come towards the end, I have a question for you. What are you struggling with? Is it a relationship? Is it money or career? Is it your self-esteem or self-love or confidence? Whatever it is, pick up a journal and have a conversation with yourself. Things are not as obvious as they appear. They have layers to it. So stop looking at the situations from the surface level because they are deeper than that. Get to the bottom and find your meaning. Ask more questions because questions are the answers. Remember, suffering ceases to be suffering the day it finds its meaning. And there is no situation of suffering in life that does not contain in itself a seed of meaning. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast till the end. If you'd like to listen to more episodes of The 20s Show, make sure you hit the subscribe button to get notified. And if you think I've been able to add some value, please hit the like button and share it with your friends and family because that will absolutely mean the world to me. I'll catch you in the next episode of The 20s Show. Till then, stay safe and keep thriving.